Hello,
Second.
guys. Welcome, everyone. My name is Phoebe Thomas. I'm together with Rug Smitty today. Rug Smitty, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.
How are you doing today? Are you looking forward to the
Uh,
Hungary Grand Prix here of SFR today?
yeah, very interesting track as well. Tight, twisty. Some of the drivers say Monaco without the walls, and I tend to agree with that. Very little overtaking opportunity, so we will see strategy come out on top this evening. Of course, strategy should be about either medium to soft or hard to soft or hard to medium. No one should be doing the medium hard as it is the way slower strategy.
Yeah, you know what the interesting thing is? Last week, I had a live stream for another league. They were doing Hungary too, and it seems like they weren't able to pull off soft mediums or medium softs. So, did you try it yourself, or is this just based on others people information?
Well, based on an absolute terrific performance by a certain Rogue Smithy in Div 1 last year, where he did medium soft and then got a podium, but his now current teammate, MDJ, decided to back up Glock into him. So Glock had the DRS on MDJ. MDJ kept Glock behind him, and I got stuck behind Glock. So I lost the podium due to that, but it's a brilliant strategy, and if you have the time management to pull it off, you definitely can. And I think we should see one or two try and attempt to pull it off this evening.
Yeah, 100%. The thing is, Hungary has a lot of fast speed corners. You're going into turn 3, I think it is. Turn 4 is also a fast left-hander. Then you've got turn 5, that little long U-turn. Heading into the chicane, turn 6 and 7, if I'm not mistaken. And then you've got a section of very fast corners going into turn 7, turn 8, turn 9, almost all 60 to 70 degrees corners going into turn 11 and 12. You've got kind of 90 degrees corners, and then you're heading into a slow part of the track, turn 12 and turn 13, if I'm not mistaken there. What are your expectations going into sector 3 there? Do you think that is the optimal strategy to make the overtake on, or do you see any other corners where the guys are going to be able to make a move?
Turn 1, turn 1's obviously the main one. Turn 2 as well. Could see a few moves up the hill into turn 3 and 4 if they have the switch back from turn 2. As that, if you use a bit of ERS, you might be able to do that. I've seen a few moves around the outside of turn 5, surprisingly, but that is when they're on completely different strategies, like a soft and hard comparison. But yeah, I think that's mostly it for the track. The final 2 corners, final 3 corners even, no chance of overtaking, unless there's a severe mistake from another driver.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I thought, sometimes people are willing to make a move into that third to last corner, just make a dive bomb down the inside and then push the other guy a little bit wide onto the curb. I've seen it a couple of times already, but apparently you didn't, which is understandable. It also depends on the quality of the drivers, and we do have a big bunch of top guys here in Div 2 today in Speed Force Racing, as it is going to be round 3 of the Hungary Grand Prix. Going into the race, who do you think is going to get a good position in the top 3, maybe?
Well, based off the practice sessions, of course, we do practice sessions in SFR as a community. We saw. I was in a few sessions with Sonic Hawk and Adams, and they were rapid. Sonic Hawk was up there with Martin. Martin, obviously, Div 1 driver. So Sonic Hawk was up there with him. So I would expect him to be at least top 3 here. But it also depends on setup and if it's going to rain in the race. If they decide to put a little higher wings or different suspension for the rain. If it is going to rain even in the race, which is quite likely, of course. The first 3 rounds of the season, always likely for a bit of rain. Spain, Austria and Hungary. And then Spa as well next week. That's a huge chance of rain. So I think we'll see we might see a bit of rain, but it will depend as well on strategy. The setups, who will get pole.
Fair enough. Silver Fox right now 118.6 has just come across the line. There's another couple of guys on the lap, including Jinji right now coming around the last corner into turn 13, if I'm not mistaken. And is he going to have a good exit? It does look like it. Keeves with a 116.3 comes across the line with his Alpine car, and Jinji puts himself in P2 of 117.6. So not the best lap from Silver Fox right there. What are your expectations for Silver Fox here? I haven't seen him last season in Div 2, if I'm not mistaken. Not too sure if he's in the server for a long time already. You've been here longer than I did. So any information on him?
No, I have not seen him. I think he's one of the new OWR takeover that is joined the server, because as well, you've seen, if anyone catches the Div 1 streams, it is an OWR takeover. It's just OWR, always down the grid. And I haven't seen much of Silver Fox, as I think we'll see more of him. Calvin goes a second there. Of course, he's had a disappointing start to the season.
Yeah, maybe we should have a quick look at the standings here. I'll just grab them real quick. But last week was a very interesting race around, where was it again? Austria, if I'm not mistaken. Just gonna take the standings here real quick. It's always interesting that it's on a Google Doc document. So we have got a Div 2 right here. So Noldus is in P1 with 52 points. He got a decent result in Spain, where he got the race win, and so did he grab the race win in Austria. We had P3 for Cassidy in Spa, and I think P4, P5 in Austria. And then P3 is going to be for Keeves, who is currently on pole here today, so I think he's done some practice. Sonic Hawk, who you think is going to grab a top 3 position here today, is only up in P7 with 25 points, but the midfield is very, very close right there. We've got Mr. Wiggles in P5 with 29, Mansell in P4 with 30, we've got Adams in P6 with 27, and then we've got Sonic Hawk, of course, in P7, the V-Car in P8 with 24, and then the guys behind all have 19, 19, 18, 17, 16 points. So it's a very close grid here today. Everyone has scored points already. I think that is quite logical, because everyone who finishes gets points, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, there's been a lot of good results here from the guys at the top already. I don't think Noldus is in here. Oh yeah, he is. He's in P4 right now. So I do expect him to get a better position here today. McLaren in P1 in the Constructors with 61 points. And then we've got AlphaTauri and Alfa Romeo with 57 and 53 in P2 and P3.
Yeah, speaking of AlphaTauri as well, Michael Wasp, I completely forgot about him. He is rapid. Got pole in Spain, of course, and dropped about I think he was P3 by the end of the race in Spain, which was a decent result for him, considering he wasn't on the optimal strategy, but he's going to be trying to regain some of that championship gap that he has lost to Noldus. As at the minute, Noldus as well looking really quick in the championship. I think if his current form continues, he will be up to Div 1 soon enough. It's quite quick.
Yeah. Is there any chance for Noldus to already go to Div 1 after a couple of races, or does he have to wait until the end of the season?
I think mid-season can happen, but it won't happen until a few more races down. I'd say around round 6, round 5, round 6. That's when we'll start seeing drivers swapped around from the two divisions. But yeah, no chance of seeing Noldus in Div 1 tomorrow, or even next round in Spa. It's way too early in the season. Might just have a few good tracks in the first opening, so I think they'll just see racing in the next couple of rounds, and then the admins will decide.
Just taking a quick look here with Cassidy as he's performing the fastest first sector here around Hungary, going into sector 2. He's just come out of the fast left-right-handers, another left-right-hander here right in sector 2. Now we're heading into that 90 degrees corner, the fastest second sector, as we're heading into turn 11, turn 12 right now, the long U-turn, as it is going to be difficult making a move around here into turn 13, as this is of course going to be the pitch entry, but he's not coming into the pits. He's going to perform a good lap on the board here, possibly a 1:16, as he has a little bit of a slip right there coming out of that corner. P5 for the Red Bull driver, 1:16.5. Not a bad performance, but I thought he would have been more in the top 3. But it's definitely not looking like it. Calvin racing his teammate in P3, Mindful Wasp in P2, and Keeves in P1. Still on pole for the LP driver right there.
Yeah, so Cassidy as well, at the end of second 2, during that right-hander, right at the end of it, when the tyres were just screaming, he kind of lost it as well there, and had to lift off just to keep it inbound on the track. So maybe he lost about a tenth there, and then at least 10th or 2 during that final corner as well. So we could see a few positions jumped up for Cassidy. Mansell as well going to P7 as well. Former Division 1 or GP1 as at the time champion, I believe, if I'm not wrong. I might be wrong on that. I'm just going to go double check that.
You know what the thing is around Hungary? Like, a lot of guys are going to be struggling keeping their cars on track due to that high, you know, that high overheating probability. Coming out of Sector 2, you've got, as you said, your tires are screaming. And then I think Sector 3 is kind of a break for the tires because it's not high-speed corners. It's just 90 degrees corners. You've got 180 degrees corners, all of that kind of something. And it's not really tire overheating consuming, if that makes sense. But yeah, overall I think this track is beautifully made. You've got a good overtaking opportunity in Sector 1. You've got kind of a, you know, technical sector in Sector 2, and you've got that rest sector in Sector 3 where all the guys can kind of come to a point where they are like, all right, I've managed to get through Sector 2, let's finish off Sector 3 and then start a whole new lap. Hopefully with a good overtaking opportunity in Sector 1. So yeah, a lot of guys are good. Hopefully going to be able to make a move in Sector 1, as we're currently on board with Jiniji, who's up by 8 tenths already. Is he going to come across the line 2.2 seconds slower? So that is not going to be an improvement for the Mercedes driver. And Matt G currently in P14. Not a good result, as he is also invalidated this lap, as I think he was on a fast lap, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 2 seconds, I'm just getting a call.
Yeah, no worries. Oliver right now in P19 hasn't put a lap in yet, and the Haas driver not on a good stroll here yet at the beginning of the season, but hopefully he can make his dream come true. Is you know, going into this season, you want to be up there already at the beginning of the season because it's such a hard grid and such a hard chance to get back to the top guys. And I think that is what Oliver is going to try and do here in Hungary. He's going to try to get back up there because otherwise he won't be able to get that race win, or, well, the race win possibly, but not up in the championship anymore. And I do believe that Oliver is going to be one of those guys who's kind of the underdog, kind of the black horse, and I think he's going to be able to do it. He's going to be able to do it. Coming around the last corner right now, down the main straight in that Haas car. Is it going to be a 116.6? Yes, indeed, right in front of his teammate Mansell. And P8, I do think that Oliver is going to bump up a couple of positions here with the race start. Still 6 more minutes in the qualifying, as we're only going to have a short qualifying here in SFR, as it is going to be a short qualifying and a 50% race. And Aldous still in P5. He's up on a fast lap right now, 500s slower than his previous lap. But let's see what he can do here in Sector 2 and Sector 3. As he's coming around that last corner, going a little bit wide, and that is going to be an invalidation. He was up on his time by 700s, and who knows what time he would have put on the board if he didn't invalidate right there.
Yeah, Calvin as well to the line. Here we go, Calvin. Not an improvement action for Calvin. I thought I would have seen him go up. It looked like he was going purple through Sector 1. Might have made a bit of a mistake through end of the final sectors, of course. As well, you need to get in front of the drivers through Sector 1 because it's so important to be ahead during Sector 2 and 3 because it's so... The dirty air will just ruin your tyres. You'll be sliding all over the place. Your tyres will be overheating. That is why it's important to get past as soon as possible through Sector 1, of course. Just going back to what you said a few minutes ago on that. Yeah, I'm trying to scout for anyone on the lap. I don't see anyone.
I think Ellie is on the lap. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I think Bossy's on a lap. Bossy was on a lap.
Yeah, Bossy was on a lap. It was 16.2. Oh my god.
Nah, I don't think Bossy was on a lap, you know.
Nah, this was just, you know, an out lap, an in lap actually.
Yeah, in lap for Bossy. Is he on a lap? No, in pit lane. He's never yet to set a lap. Gogs hasn't set a lap at all this season in any session, which is quite interesting. He didn't set a lap in Austria, didn't set a lap in Spain, and he's on course to set no lap in Hungary either.
Sorry, my the
So,
stream was gone for a minute. I had some connection issues right there. Sorry.
sorry.
The V-Car only in P19. Is he? Do you think he's already trying to go medium traction, or do you think he's not gonna be? Because I saw a little discussion because obviously we're gonna be switching to medium TC after round 8, if I'm not mistaken. Well, from round 8. For the guys who are not familiar with that yet, the admin team has taken a decision that they want to do something about the big base gap here in Div 2, and they're trying to solve that problem by only allowing medium and no traction control for the drivers. And some of the drivers, including the V-Car, are running full traction control, and he seems like he's all the way down in P19. So do you think he's already trying to go medium traction here?
I don't know. It could be interesting to see. If a few are, because obviously I know a few drivers do run no traction at the minute. Let me just double check. I think, is Dan in the lobby? No, Dan isn't in the lobby. I know Dan, he uses no traction. I believe Michael Wasp uses no traction as well. So a few drivers using no traction already.
Oh, there goes Adams in the wall. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, 2/10 up on his time. That would have been good enough for provisional pole. Cassidy goes to second as well.
Not a bad lap. Only 800ths away from Boss Gaming's time right there. You know what the funny thing is? Adams just lost it at the same position where Cassidy lost it in his previous lap.
It's that curb. That inside curb, you don't want to touch it whatsoever. If you're riding Bubba Cassidy here, you can see this inside curb here at turn 5. You don't want to touch it whatsoever because it will just turn your car around. And there's a few curbs around here that will do that at the final corner as well.
Yeah, very annoying track here around Hungary, but also such a beautiful track. I feel like, you know, there's a lot of like good racing around Hungary, and I think I actually, after last week's race that I did for another league, I was even thinking about, I've got my own event, right, and Speed Force Racing will take part in it. So I was thinking about making the track Hungary because it's such a beautiful track. There's a lot of risk around Hungary, but it's just a beautiful racing track, honestly.
Yeah, I absolutely love Hungary. It's one of the best tracks compared to Spa in this game. On this game and the last game, Spa is horrible as a track to drive. Absolutely despise it. It's too bumpy. It's too unrealistic. But Hungary is the opposite of that. Sorry for Monaco. Monaco, yeah, it's bumpy, but it's really realistic, and I love it for that. Spa I hate though, and Hungary is one of the best tracks as well. So that is another reason why I love it.
Yeah, 100%. If there was a Grand Prix, you know, no prize involved. Like you don't have to pay the price. They told you, here's one ticket. You can go to one Grand Prix in your life. What Grand Prix would that be?
Oh, we're going for any tickets, so like Paddock Pass, all them tickets.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a tough one. Being Canadian, I would like to go to the Canadian Grand Prix, but
you're Canadian?
Born, yeah.
Okay, I already thought like your accent isn't Canadian.
Yeah. No.
Fair enough.
And then as well, Monaco. That's always been a huge one. Monaco is brilliant. The atmosphere, not the atmosphere, it's just luxury, and it's lovely there. So I'd love to go to Monaco.
Fair enough.
It is difficult as well because there is a lot of races that you would want to go to, but I'm not too sure. I'm not. There's a lot of places.
Fair enough. Right now on board with Mr. Wiggles. Not too sure if he's up on his lap, but we will see that in a second. He's not up on his lap, so we might want to focus on someone else here. Sonic might be up on his lap here, currently in Sector 1. He's got his teammate right behind him. Might have gotten a little tow there from Mr. Boss Gaming, who's already in P2. Keeves has put himself on pole with a 115.8. Sonic Hawk not on the lap, not up on his lap. He is 500s down right now. Up, how do you say that? Is up faster or is down faster?
He is up on his time, which means I'm confused on that as well. Calvin goes to P3 there, or was it Keith's going to the top, or was it? It was Oliver going second actually.
Ooh.
Calvin as well. Oliver to second, Calvin up to fourth.
Sonic
came
Hawk
out of
up on his
nowhere.
lap. Sonic Hawk up on his lap. He's 2 tenths up. Coming around the last couple of corners right now. He might be able to pinch off a couple of tenths still. And out of turn 12 and 13 right now. Will it be a pole time for Sonic Hawk? I don't think so after a very disappointing Sector 1 there. He's going to put himself in P3, 116.1 for the Aston Martin driver. And what a lap from Sonic Hawk. I think the qualifying is over actually. Only AKG, who's put himself in P9 right now. Wasp still.
Wasp just jumped up to P2.
What a lap
Don't know if you noticed that, yeah.
Wasp.
Up to P2. Oliver out of nowhere, did not see him coming. Sonic Hawk around where expected, save for the 2 Red Bulls in Cassidy and Calvin. Both of them I do expect to come good in the race, barring any incidents with them.
Little is a disappointing result from Noltis right there. Only P11 with a 116.3. But, I mean, of course, I don't totally agree with the admins saying that the pace is that there's such a big gap from pace, because the top 5 is within 2 or 3 tenths of each other. The midfield is around 2 or 3 tenths from each other, and I feel like, you know, quality-wise, they're quite competitive with each other. Look at this. The top 11 is within 5 tenths of each other. That is...
Yes, that's where it goes, though. It's the top 11, and then it's the drop-off to the rest of them, I think. Knowles, as we will see come through the race, in my opinion. Just depends if he's got those sandbags off from last week. That, of course. Yeah, we should see an interesting race as well. Knowles is quite down the order championship leader. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, 100%. And it's not that he's not going to gain any points, but the guys behind him are just so close to him that he's just going to drop positions. You know, he's currently in P1, but he's only got, well, he got quite a few positions actually. Well, points ahead. He's got 26 points ahead. No, 16 points ahead. So Cassidy needs to win this race, and Noldes only needs to get, well, only can get P10 or something like that to actually keep his championship position right there. But it'll be all for Cassidy. He's only qualified in P7, so Keeves also only 19 points behind Noldes, so he's going to be able to close down this gap after getting that pole position here. So yeah, it's really going to be exciting. Mansell also in P4, and Mr. Wiggles in P5. So it's going to be very close here in the driver standings after this race.
Yeah, it will be. It's I think if Noel just doesn't get a good result, that'll be interesting to see as well. If Cassidy or Calvin can get it, not Calvin, sorry, he's a bit far down. But Calvin, if he can get a win or a podium, he will jump massively up, and I'd love to see that. He's a brilliant guy, Calvin, great racer as well. As much as we do have our differences sometimes on pro clubs, he is a really nice guy. Same for Cassidy. A lot of the drivers in this grid are all very nice as well. Just speaking from experience now.
So someone in the chat asks, why isn't Gox running qualifying, watching all this season?
Stumps me.
That is a good question. Preben, you might have to ask Mr. Gox yourself, because we have no information on that, honestly. He just can't be bothered, I think. I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't want to be in the middle of the field, where he is vulnerable for people, you know? I don't know. What could be the explanation for that? So, any predictions on your top 3 today, the race?
I couldn't tell you, mate. There's a lot of variables, a lot of drivers that can get it. But just off of qualifying and what race pace usually, if they can keep out of incidents, I think Sonic Hawk possibly can get the win, followed by Calvin and Cassidy, so a double Red Bull podium I would like to see as well. Yeah, so I think Sonic Hawk, Cassidy and Calvin, you can swap those two around though, and defend.
So, according to Martin, Gox will never qualify until he's completed a last to first.
He'll never qualify then. No, I'm joking, of course.
That's a good. Well, no, actually, it's a good shot, because with the quality drivers that we have today.
Yeah. It's interesting that I don't understand that.
So looking at the tires right now, there's a lot of guys running mediums and hard tires. There's only two who are running soft tires, who are Silver Fox and the V-Car all the way in P18 and P19. But all the rest of the grid are kind of mixed between mediums and hards. I'm just going to give my prediction real quick. So I'm going to go with Mindful Wasp for the race win. I'm going with Sonic Hawk in P2, and I'm going with Calvin Racing in P3.
Yeah, I'm going to go an extension on my one as well. I'm going to go P4, go for Wasp, P5, Key, 6, Oliver, 7, Mansell, Adams, P8, and Nolders, P9. I reckon that's my top 9. I'm going to go.
Nolders, P9? Wow.
I don't see them. Actually, I'll have a look at the tyres. Let me have a look at that. Oh, does depend. Calvin going hard. Wasp going hard. Silver Fox and the Vic are going soft, so they. It's a bit of a strategy, but I'll see if it pays off. Maybe safety car could help them, of course, with the hard. So we'll see how it goes for them.
Yeah, I do think we're gonna have another safety car here today in Hungary, though. It's always a challenge keeping your car on track, especially with 20 people.
It's Monaco without the walls, and even then, it still has walls close to the track.
Yep.
It's you've got like just out of the final corner there. Oh, that's not good. Not where you want to be at all. If you're Keith.
No, 100%. He's only gonna be behind with a couple of centimeters though, but still, it could give the final shot.
4 meters, I'd say.
4 meters. Holy shit.
2-3 meters. Anyway, I'll let you take it away.
All right, guys, we've got 5 red lights here in SFR in Hungary, if I'm not mistaken, and off we go. We have got a very good start from Gibbs right there, but I think Mindful Wasp is already looking to go down the inside, and we've got the Haas driver right next to Mindful Wasp here, going into turn 1. Mindful Wasp throws it down the inside into turn 1, as he's not going to take the lead of the race here. Keeps his position. Oliver in P3. We've got Sonic Hawk already up in P4. Right behind him is Cassidy, who's made up 2 positions already, as Boss Game is currently in P6. Calvin Racing in P7 on his hard tires. Didn't really lose a position right there. Adams in P8 and Mansell in P9. We've got a pretty decent start from Nolders here, already made up his 1 position, as we've got Cassidy under fire from behind by Mr. Boss Gaming. Only 2 tenths in between those two. Sonic Hawk looking to make a move down the inside into that chicane, but he backs off very interestingly there. So we've got Calvin Racing going onto the curb. I think he got overtaken by Adams, if I'm not mistaken, but he went onto the curb and might have some minor damage. Not 100% sure, but he took that curve very interestingly right there. Boss Gaming in P6 right now, 6 tenths behind Cassidy, 4 tenths right now. So you might want to focus on the guys behind here. Doran right behind MCFC, as he is of course on those medium tires. 2 positions gained for Mr. Wiggles going into sector 3 right there. So we might want to catch a quick look at Gox here, already up in P15. Ellie losing positions rapidly right now, but Gox gained 5 positions, so not bad at all.
Yeah, Nolders up to P9 now as well. The thing is, he had an amazing start. He had best reaction time at the front 3 from visual, in my opinion. So, from what I can see, he had the best reaction time. Got alongside Wasp, could have overtaken Wasp, but then had to he got boxed in with Keith. Keith and Wasp were side by side because Keith's poor starting position, being a few meters behind where he should be, ended up causing a kind of box to be caused around Oliver, so he could not overtake them. I didn't see what happened to Calvin, but I saw what happened to Calvin when Aiden's overtook him. Aiden's just left him no room over the curb, so he's on a bit of a fight back now. Is the Geordie.
Yeah, Calvin Racing still trying to make that overtake, but we've also got Mansell trying to close down that gap to Nolders. Nolders, who made that position quite nicely there. MCFC, who just went onto the curb a little bit too much, and might have grabbed a track warning right there. But overall, we didn't see any penalties yet. It's only lap 2, heading into lap 3 though. But sometimes we see a couple of guys already grab a penalty from those feisty battles going into sector 2, where they are getting pushed wide a little bit there. A little bit of a snap there from Oliver, as it is going to be Sonic Hawk around the outside right now with the medium tires. He grabs that fastest lap around the outside into turn 1. And is it going to be Oliver leaving him any room? Does not look like it, as he has to give up that position. Talking about Sonic Hawk right there, as Oliver, some beautiful defense on the Aston Martin driver. A little bit of an awkward line for Sonic Hawk right there going into turn 2, but he might be able to make a switchback work here coming into into turn 3, as it is not going to look like it. Oliver keeps the position for now, but how long will he need? Goes a little bit off track right there. Might have grabbed a quick track warning heading into the chicane right now. Sonic Hawk looking to make a move down the inside, but he backs out of it. It was not close enough, and especially into that chicane, you definitely want to be right beside someone before making that move, because otherwise it's never going to work.
Yeah, as well, you need to be really close, even within a tenth, I'd say. Oliver nearly out of the Wasp there, losing touch with the leading battle. It's not what he wants to do whatsoever. Cassidy just staying in touch with him as well, and Calvin doing quite well. Just wants to keep that DRS, keep ahead of this train behind him, and in front of him even. As Adams, who might see a move down into turn 1, we might see a few moves down into turn 1, as DRS is now enabled. As we'll see, you get DRS on cars in front.
Adams right now trying to clutch a little bit of slipstream here.
Off the inside door, and there, nice move for him.
Sorry, the connection was gone again. Sorry guys, my apologies. So Sonic Hawk right now in P4, right behind the Haas driver, as it is going to be a very hard challenge making the overtake here in Sector 2. But let's hope he's going to be able to make that overtake very soon, because he's a little bit stuck right now. He's not able to get closer to Mindful Wasps or Keeves. He's just making it difficult for Oliver to keep him behind. Right now we've got Adams in P7, made up 3 positions already, so not a bad start by the Williams driver yet. And Mansell up in P10. Well, he lost actually 2 positions, so he's looking to make that move again on Noldes, 3/10s behind the McLaren driver right now. But will it be an opportunity here down the main straight? A good question. Let's have a quick look coming out of that last corner. It doesn't look like he's gaining any time. But although down the main straight, he's got a lot of straight line speed, and Mansell gets past Noldes already down the inside right now, and Noldes is not going to give this position for free. He's looking to make the switchback work. He's going to have the DRS right now, but so is Mansell, of course, and this position has been given for free by Noldes. Oh, a little bit of a snap there from the Haas driver. Now Noldes might be able to make that overtake again. Let's have a quick look here into turn 4, and it's not looking like he's going to make that position up again after that risky mistake by Mansell.
Yeah, if you're Mansell now, you want to just save those tyres. Don't push, don't fight. If Noldes is quicker, let him back through. Because you need to make those tyres last to lap 20 if you want to go to the softs. And if he wants to go to the softs, that is. If not, you can go push all out right now. But if I'm Mansell, I'd save the tyres, don't push, and just go for the softs near the end of the race. Keith as well, he's under pressure from Wasp, and Oliver, he is 1 more away from a penalty already after 5 laps.
Shinji right now in P15, lost 3 positions already, but he finds himself right behind his teammate Gox, who made up 6 positions already. He's going to be deemed our biggest winner of the evening, and Ellie being our biggest loser of the evening. And I think, looking at the position, I think the V-car is definitely trying to go medium traction control here. He's up in P12, and we've got a crash.
It's
It is Sonic Hawk.
And it's Oliver, clearly. There's 2 of them. Oliver's all the way down. Sonic Hawk is all the way down and has no front wing, so Sonic Hawk's strategy's out the window. He's going to Wiggles is letting them back through. This is... I didn't catch what happened there.
Me neither, actually. I think they just had a collision, and Sonic Hawk doesn't have a front wing anymore. We don't have a full safety car. It's only going to be a virtual safety car. So we're going to see Sonic Hawk drop a lot of positions here, as he has to come into the pits soon. It's nice for Mr. Wiggles to let him through again, but now he finds himself in a difficult position because Sonic Hawk, he's just going to cut that chicane right there. Mr. Wiggles makes that position. So does Gog, so does Jinergy. As Sonic Hawk, yeah, very unfortunate. We were both expecting him to be in the top 3 today, but it's looking like that's not going to be happening.
Yeah, I had him down for a win. This would be a miracle if he wins this. Actually, I would do something on. Honestly, I would pay him 50 quid if he wins this now. Even more. I'd do a shoey on a live stream if he wins. From 30 plus seconds back now, at least. Nearly half a minute down, at least. As it was unlucky as well, where the safety car came out where he couldn't come back into the pit lane, and it kind of screwed up his strategy, so he couldn't get into the pit lane and lose less time than he would. As Gogs and Wiggles having a little battle. Yeah,
it looks like Wiggles is trying to go around the outside, but the room was not there. Gogs with a beautiful defense took the inside line. Did not give the Alfa Romeo an opportunity to make the overtake, as it is going to be a very close battle between Cassidy and Boss Gaming and Mindful Wasp here, as Adams looking to make a move into the chicane. Obviously, the room was not there, as you cannot go side by side through the chicane, and he's made that mistake earlier with Calvin Racing, I think, didn't he?
Yeah, he loses too much time doing it. I don't understand why you even attempt that, because you're just losing touch with the guys in front at that point. As Bossy again struggling on those tyres, we saw this in Spain, absolutely demolished those tyres after about 5 laps, 6 laps, and he was a goner for the rest of the race. So let's see how long he can hold on for this week without an incident. Here comes Aiden though up the inside, and that is easy.
Oh! Almost a collision between the two, but none of them has DRS. That's very interesting there, because I thought Adams was going to have the DRS, but looks
Adams
like he has the
DRS.
DRS. Yeah, very interesting. None of those two had DRS. How did...
Adams did have DRS.
Did he? Oh, because his wing was closed down down the straight, no?
Oh! Jineji goes straight on. Gogs has hit the back of Wiggles. Jineji hit the curb, lost the position to Najee. Just caught that at the corner of the eye. Jineji bottoming out on the curb. Calvin losing a position to Mansell. Total kicking off on lap 80 here. As, yeah, Jineji just hit the curb through turn 2 on the entry. You should be able to see it if next lap. There's just a big lifted up curve, and he's just gone straight on. Couldn't really avoid it, and Gogs hit the back of Wiggles, trying to go later on the brakes because his teammate was going to hit the back of him. So, scary times for the two Mercedes.
Yeah, there is a big gap being created right now between Mindful Wasp and Cassidy. Already 1.5 seconds. And with Cassidy not having the DRS right now, he's vulnerable for a move from behind.
Bossy hit the wall.
6/10 for Adams right now.
Bossy hit the wall on pit entry, and he's already in. Is this a 2-stop? This might be a 2-stop.
Does he have a broken front wing though?
It's a 2-stop. He's going to do a 2-stop. He's going to risk it. He's going to come out miles ahead. He just needs to make up 20 plus seconds at least. Watch out of the DRS now, but this is where we'll see the mediums start to turn into the hard's favour around lap 10-11. As Adams is pushing for that podium from Cassidy again. Oh, just loaded into the wall.
Safety car?
Absolutely.
No, doesn't look like it.
No, he's got him back going again. Don't think he's got much. Oh, Bossy coming out the pit lane. Overtakes just loading off the track though, which might get him a 5-second penalty and losing 5 seconds, of course. Nick is struggling. This is that was madness there. Wasp still in the yeah, there we go. So overtake and Maggi getting a penalty as well. So overtaken off the track after Juzalodian lost it. I had to shove him off track, and Bossy overtook him, got that penalty, and he's going to have to gain an extra 5 seconds now to even come out ahead of some of these
Adams right now
drivers.
down the main straight. He's making up that position up into P3 as he made that move down the main straight on Cassidy with the use of DRS and a little bit of ERS right there. And I think it's going to be a hard challenge for Cassidy to make up that position again. Calvin up into P5 right now, made the move on Mansell. As Mansell is trying to make a move around the outside right
Mansell
now.
pushing to the absolute maximum. I saw Mansell, he went off track at turn 1, exit. Might have picked up a warning from that. So, yeah, keep an eye on that. Calvin there, a little wider than Mansell on entry. But this is smart from Calvin, just keep them behind for your teammate. Because I think some of these are faster than Cassidy, so just keep them behind, get maximum points for the team. Which I am really liking this team play by the Red Bulls.
Yeah, 100%. And it's better to have Calvin racing, who's going to be able to keep these guys behind as second driver right now, than Cassidy, who's more likely to let some guys go through and then make up a couple of seconds again on Calvin racing if the roles were switched. So yeah, they're finding themselves in the perfect position right now, and Mansell 2 positions gained already. So did Knoll, is actually 4 already for the McLaren driver as they're now heading into the main straight. And of course Calvin Racing does not have the DRS as he's gonna go to the right side of the track right now to try and break that toe off Mansell. Mansell down the main straight. We've got a good exit from Calvin Racing coming out of that last corner. As you can see, he had a lot of straight line speed and he was able to keep Mansell behind him. But the good question is he going to keep him behind right now? Doesn't look like it. Mansell around the outside, not much room given to Calvin Racing coming into into turn 2 as he makes up that position. Calvin Racing goes off track a little bit there. Might have been a track warning for the Red Bull driver. Mansell right now into turn 4 and 5, and he kept the Red Bull driver behind him. Noldes is the next one to hopefully eat up Calvin Racing, as that is going to be a very feisty battle between both of them.
Yeah, it's a good move from Mansell. Tried it lap before, didn't have DRS on though, and this time got it done. Adams got past Cassidy, pulled out with DRS within a lap, and is nearly in the DRS to Wasp, who is closing down on Keith as well. Just putting that pressure on with absolutely full battery for my Wasp. But he's not used any of it. We're just saving it for when he eventually pits.
Yeah, maybe that's a little sign that he's gonna try and make the overcut work, because usually, you know, you don't need the DRS when you're making the undercut, do you? Or is he just saving it for in case that Keeves is gonna be making the undercut?
I'm not too sure on that. It's a bit of a mix. You want to just get, if I'm my Wasp, I'd get past Keith ASAP because I've got a fast charge and Adams behind me, who's going to be trying to get past me and into the lead myself. So if I'm Wasp, get past Keith, pull out the gap, and just manage the tyres from there. So let's see what he does decide to do, because obviously he's got full ERS, and he can choose to get past him. If he decides to go past him, he can. But he's just choosing to stay behind. There we go, Oliver's picked up the penalty. This time though, down in P10 on a comeback drive is Oliver.
The interesting thing to see too, well, to mention too, is that Mindful Wasp is on those hard tires together with Calvin and Nolde, so they're going to bump up a couple of positions when going onto the mediums or the softs at the end of the race. So Mindful Wasp actually doing a splendid job keeping the pace with Keeves. And I think at this point during the race, the hards are a little bit faster than the mediums, so he doesn't really need to use that ERS to make the overtake. Now coming around the last corner, he might be able to make that overtake down the main straight with the use of DRS and a little bit of ERS. But it doesn't look like it. Keeves with another good exit coming out of that corner. And even with the DRS, Mindful Wasp is not able to gain a 10th down the straight.
Yeah, I think Keith might be using a bit of his charge. As there we go, we'll see Mindful Wasp use some of his charge to just pull out of that DRS of Adams as well. Adams, he's quite a quick driver, and I think we should see these mediums start to fall off soon. Mindful Wasp keeping far away from that curb to avoid picking up a warning. Just keeping it cautious at the minute.
AKG with a 3-second time penalty right now, only in P9 as he's got Oliver right behind him. Doran right now trying to make the overtake on Noldes again. Noldes 8 tenths behind Calvin Racing, so he's kind of losing that toe to the other hard tire runner as it seems like Mindful Wasp is trying to close down that gap again. 3/10 right now, heading into Sector 3 as they're coming around that last couple of corners. And will he be able to make the move right now? Dynamite straight, it doesn't look like it, and I feel like Keeves has gone for a setup where he's gonna have a lot of straight line speed and just hopes that he's gonna keep the guys behind him through the corners, because in my opinion that's a good strategy to go with. You know, just keep them behind Dynamite straight and be a little bit slower through the corners, because it's so hard to make the overtake around the corners here in Hungary. So yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting to see. It's something I've not really explored myself, as I'm not one of the quicker one. I get a podium once a season, maybe twice if I'm lucky. But yeah, I'm usually going for the higher downforce as Wiggles. I'm usually going for the higher downforce just because I'm usually stuck behind cars, so I expect to be behind like a few cars. So I put the downforce up a little bit just to make sure that the FEA doesn't affect me. But keep clear and thinking, well, I'm going to be on pole. I'm confident I'm going to be on pole. I'm going to put these wings down so I can keep the other cars behind me and keep that pace down the straight.
Yeah, and in my opinion, that's the right decision to go if you think you're going to be in the top 5 and hopes for a race win here. I do feel like Mindful Wasp is going to be able to make that move eventually, but right now he's just experiencing a lot of like dirty air, and his tires are wearing out a little bit faster than all the other guys. So are Adams, by the way. Adams now coming out of that last corner with the DRS. Or is it just Mindful Wasp who has a bad setup down the main straight? It doesn't look like it, actually, because Adams not gaining any time. Mindful Wasp now gaining about 2 or 3/10 here on Keeves. So it's definitely a good three-way battle with a 3-second gap to Cassidy already. So I feel like Cassidy is just trying to manage his tires here. He has a 2.3-second gap to Mansell and a 2.9-second gap to close down to Adams, which I don't think he's looking forward to do. Noldus right now in P7, 4/10s behind Calvin Racing. As I said already, this is going to be a feisty battle. But it's just a question whether who is going to get that penalty first. As you can see, Calvin Racing just went off track a little bit there, and Noldus, I think, cut the corner. So I'm really surprised and wondering how many like track warnings these guys already have. Maybe you are able to see that. I'm not 100% sure.
I am. Adams and Wasp, not Adams and Wasp. Wasp and Keith have got a 0 between them. I think Wasp might have just picked up through turn 1. Yes, he did on this lap, as Adams has none as well. Cassidy not picked up a few. So Noldus actually is the one that we're looking at the minute. Noldus has a singular warning. Calvin Racing, 2 warnings. Might have been for collisions though, lap 3 and lap. Yeah, Calvin for exceeding. And again exceeding. So it's Noldus on 1, Calvin on 2.
Adams. There goes Mindful Wasp pushing Adams a little bit wide there, and I think he's going to keep this position, although he's giving it for free. I think he acknowledged that he went a little bit too deep into turn 2, Mindful Wasp, and he's gonna give that position for free to Adams. Actually, a 1.2-second gap created to Keeves, so I think Keeves needs to push right now and hope for the best.
That's big. That's big for Cassidy there. Sorry if I interrupted there.
No, don't worry.
Cassidy picking up a 3-second there. Not what he wants in his race, as Mansell is closing in on him. He's in sight of that Red Bull.
Sorry.
There we go.
Oh, another penalty for Mindful Wasp. Well, his first actually, but he's the first one in the top 3 to grab a penalty right now. And as you mentioned before, he only had one warning, so he might have, feel a little pressure right now because he got overtaken by Adams, and Cassidy might be closing down that gap. He was 3 seconds behind, now already 2.4. So I think Mindful Wasp, his hard tires are slowly dying at the moment, but it's quite remarkable that the medium tire runners are still that fast. And Mindful Wasp was not able to overtake them yet.
Yeah, I think the optimal strategy here is it does depend as well, because say We haven't seen many this season. I don't think. I think we haven't even had one. This so far in this season, maybe we have one in Austria. Not too sure if we have one in Austria. I don't think we have one in Spain. So it's been a completely clean season for these lads so far. So I think we'll see. It might depend on who decides. You know, I'll stay out as long as possible. Hope for a safety car. Pit then, and yeah, come out with a nice little car. Hopefully in the league. But it does depend on the safety car. It does depend on the tyres, of course, as well. Cassidy is doing quite well. I think he's going to probably try and last to about lap 20, 21, 22 maybe. It does depend on tyres. Mindful as we can see on those hards. It does depend on how he feels on them.
Yeah, Bossy Gamer right now trying to make the overtake on Jinigy. He's on those 8-lap-old softs right now, going into lap 9 on the soft tires. Jinigy who comes into the pits, so that's quite nice for Bossy Gaming, and as he's going to leave some room for him to get past, of course, Jinigy coming into the pits. But so is someone else. That is going to be Oliver, who went on to medium tires, and he's currently on 17-lap-old mediums. Coming into the pits, possibly to go onto the hard tires or the soft tires. What do you reckon these guys are going to go on?
I think not smart. Try and hold on, in my opinion. That's the smarter way to go. As soon as you hit 70% on the tyres, that's when you need, oh crap, I need to come in. I'm going to get a puncture. That's the territory you're in there, as Wasp gets another penalty. Ah, Wasp. Not what you want at all, man. That's 2-3 seconds within 3 laps for him. Yeah, I think the hards, you can only, for another 2-3 laps and you're onto the softs. Maybe even now you can go onto the softs, but it does depend on your tyre saving. But yeah, it's a bit of a weird one to go onto the hards from here as well, because they're not the quickest tyre. Mansell comes in, see what he goes on to. He's either going to have to go onto the softs or the hards. See if he risks it, which we might actually see.
Martin asks if Wasp has got damage. Doesn't look like it. No visual damage.
Yeah, Mansell onto the hards too.
Yeah. Interesting.
He only has to last about another lap, and then like next lap even they can pit for the. But I lasted to about lap 21, 22, and my tyres season. These drivers, of course,
maybe they're just thinking about the end of the race, where they're gonna need that extra tire life in the hard tires that they're not gonna have in the soft tires.
Yeah,
it was such a close grid when they came into the pits, so maybe they've got a lot of battles and a lot of defensive moves still in mind, and I think in that case the hard tires should be a little bit better, because if you're in a feisty battle in lap 32 to 33, your soft tires are not going to do shit, but your hard tires are.
Yeah, that's true. But from my experience, the softs last quite a long time, as Calvin is rapidly closing up to the back of his teammates. I might actually see some teamwork here, as Calvin might be getting some DRS off of him to help him be better than Aldous. So, but yeah, if I'm Keith, I'm pitting this lap for some softs and going to the end of the race. But also depends on Adams. Does Adams pit 1 lap extra, 1 lap later even? That's 1 lap fresher tyres, and he has been quicker than Keith in this race so far. So it does all depend on that too.
Let's have a quick look at the position changes here. Adams came from P10 all the way in P2 already, so he's made up 8 positions. Mindful Wasp lost 1. Keith still in his pole position here. Cassidy currently in P3. Boss Gaming with a 3-second time penalty. He's currently in P9. Lost 4 positions, but he made up a couple of them already, as he decided to go for a 2-stopper. Noldus gained 5, we've got Cassidy gaining 3, Calvin gaining 1, Doran gaining 6, Gox gaining 10, Magi gaining 6, and the biggest loser of the evening is Oliver, of course, after that incident with Sonic Hawk, and as I'm seeing right now, they're still right behind each other.
Keith in.
Keiths is in.
Keith into the pits. He might have listened to me, which sometimes cannot be a smart decision, but let's see. As a lot of people in, actually, you know what? All of them came in. Wasp in, Keith in. So let's see what Keith goes on to. Keith's onto the soft. Wasp is going to go on to probably the softs. Noldus onto the... Well, yeah, Cassidy onto the softs. Doran is in as well. Depends, does people block people? Cassidy has just came out ahead of Noldus. So close there. Mindful Wasp onto the mediums. Keith onto the soft, so Keith's going to get that advantage earlier. EKG up to P3, he's been cycled up. As, yeah, quite interesting to see. As here comes Mansell action on those warm fires. As what's happened there.
Oh, almost a switchback there from Mansell. 110 right now behind Mindful Wasp going into turn 4. Fast left-hander goes a little bit, almost goes off track. A couple of millimeters before he got a track warning. Another one right there. But if I were Mansell, I would just keep it chill for now because Mindful Wasp has got 6 seconds already, so no need to worry about that position. And coming back to the guy Martin in chat right now, he says, I think Wasp has minor wing damage, losing time on the better tire. I think he was just doing a great job at managing the tires because he's gaining time now on Mansell as he's 1.1 seconds gained already. As Calvin Racing and Adams now coming into the pits. What tire will Calvin go on? He is going on to the soft, so he's gone for a hard soft strategy. Very interesting right there.
Keith cycles up miles into the lead now by quite some margin. Mindful Wasp is going to be cycled up to P3. Calvin might have jumped his teammate here. No, he has not. He's jumped down a few positions. Mad G still out on those hards. As Oliver is being cycled up to P9, directly behind Calvin. But Calvin is on the way fresher, way faster tyres.
Yeah, and it's only going to be a matter of time before he's going to be able to make the overtake on Maggi. I don't even think Maggi is going to make it difficult for Calvin Racing. He knows he's on a different strategy. There's no point in battling with the Red Bull driver anyway. His teammate is all the way in P20, so there's no point in battling for him either. And he just wants to get that points position instead of battling with Calvin Racing and, well, risking losing a lot of positions here.
Yeah, I think as well, he's hoping for a safety car. I think he's going to be just holding out as long as possible just to see if the magical yellow lights come out on track and he gets a safety car for him.
Calvin Racing into turn 11, making that move. Beautifully done. A lot of room given by Matt G2. So good sportsmanship by those two drivers. And now Oliver's looking to make a move as it is going to be Matt G coming into the pits here on his 21 lap Bull hard tires.
Cassidy going fastest out of the new tyre lot. So Cassidy might be catching up to Mansell, which will be interesting to see how quick he can get past him with a fast charge and Knowles behind him. Knowles on the mediums, I didn't even notice that. I thought he was on the softs. That's surprising. That does surprise me. Knowles on the mediums. Cassidy goes a little wide there. He's been struggling through that corner a lot during the race. Mad G cycles back out in P16. Yes, P6.
Someone in the chat says the softs is a gamble. I would be on mediums right now. I would too. I know that Mr. Rocksmitty in the comments box wouldn't. We've got a little bit of a different opinion about this right now.
Yeah.
Don't we? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm obviously, I did it last season medium soft, so I'm experienced with this, so I think I can make it work. Depends if these can make it work, because obviously they're going to be pushing. Well, I was pushing flat out to the end, but I did get caught up on a train where I had to kind of conserve a little bit. Which will be interesting to see if we get any trains towards the end of the race. But Cassidy is caught up rapidly to the back of that, as here comes Noldus actually. No, he's not. Thought Noldus might have been taking a little look up the inside of the Red Bull, as Cassidy is closing to that Haas rapidly.
Yeah, Knowles right now 110 behind Cassidy, and he's going to make it difficult for the Red Bull driver to keep his position. Was looking to make a move down there coming out of turn 2. He gave that position again. Well, he gave that position. He backed out of it heading into turn 3 and turn 4. Too much risk for Noldus right now, as he's got a good position. And the guy that he's currently battling in the Drivers' Championship with is in P5, so he cannot risk anything. Cassidy needs to grab a couple of positions ahead of Noldus to get a couple of points on the championship during the championship battle right now. But Mansell is making it difficult for the Red Bull driver to get past too, because you know Mansell being on 5-lap old hearts, he's gonna try to keep these guys behind him until the end of the race, because then he's gonna have a little bit fresher tires. But it's also a big question whether Cassidy is gonna be able to keep these softs fresh at the moment.
Yeah, could we see Cassidy get past, hold up those two, and keep Calvin just in the DRS of Noldus, get the maximum score for the team there, as yeah, we might actually see that here if Mansell doesn't lose position to Noldus down this straight, as he's still fighting Cassidy, still fighting Cassidy, still fighting Cassidy, still fighting Cassidy, and he's going to continue fighting. Oh my god.
Oh, almost touched wheels there. And Mansell,
still going.
This is beautiful.
Cassidy got
Almost lost the position there. Noel is a little bit too aggressive into that corner, and now Cassidy, instead of gaining a position, he actually lost a position to Noldus.
Yeah, you had to move done, Cassidy, that's the thing, you had to move done. Got on the power too early, lost the rear, and might just have to let his teammate through, who is looking quicker than him. And we might see down here a little swap between the Red Bulls to see Calvin chase down Noldus as well, as Noldus goes a little bit wide there as well. If
I were Cassidy, I wouldn't let my teammate go through, because I would be in P2 in the Drivers' Championship. And Calvin Racing isn't in P2 in the Drivers' Championship, so there's no point in letting him go through, because that's just points lost compared to Noldus, isn't it? If Calvin Racing is not going to be able to make the overtake. Noldus right now down the main straight with a lot of straight line speed and the use of DRS around the outside into turn 1. Doesn't leave too much room for the Haas driver to get past. A little bit of touch-a-rooney there between both of them, as Mandels drops down a position, 5-lap old mediums for Noldus, as Calvin Racing made the overtake on his teammate, and he's going to try and make it difficult for Mansell to be in the defensive position here.
Didn't really make the overtake, it was more of a cruise by as Cassidy through. So listening to what I thought he should do, as we will see. So obviously Calvin's got those one lap fresher tyres, which makes all the difference in the game for some reason. Yeah, it should be interesting to see if he can keep with Noldus and keep with Mansell.
Yeah, just to give the other drivers at the back of the grid some view time too. I'm just going to focus on Matt G here, as he's on 3-lap old softs, trying to make the overtake on Sonic Hawk all the way in P15 and P16. Because this is going to be for a couple of points right now. Matt G coming around these fast couple of right left-handers, as it seems like Sonic Hawk is doing a splendid job keeping the Ferrari driver right behind him. And let's go on board with Mr. Wiggles here, right behind G. Does have a penalty though, so this isn't really battling for the position at the end of the race, but rather for the position on track right now. Also Doran right now in P9, as it seems like Calvin Racing is having a heated battle with Mansell. Another position lost for the Haas driver right now. And a beautiful move there from Calvin Racing. Next target for Cassidy is of course going to be Mansell, but also Calvin Racing is looking to make it difficult for Noldus to get away from this tiny group.
Yeah, of course, Calvin needs to be pushing all out during the final bit of this racetrack at the minute, because he's got about 1.5 sectors to go. He needs to gain 3/10 in those 1.5 sectors to get back into the DRS of Noldus, which is the main aim for this lap. And then if he doesn't get it, as yeah, I might just be it, as he's starting to lose a bit of time through this middle sector compared to that McLaren.
Look at the top two though. Adams managed to get back to Keeves, as he's within 1 second right now, so he's gonna have the DRS down the main straight. And will he be able to make that position up already? Keeves with no ERS left, as it seems like Adams doesn't have any ERS left right now. With the DRS into turn 1, he's gonna brake really late, goes onto the curb. Is Keeves gonna leave enough space for Adams to get past? Doesn't look like it, as Adams has to sort his car back behind the Alpine driver. Right now goes a little bit too deep into turn 2. Kind of lost a couple of tenths right there. Keeves making it difficult for Adams to choose the right line, as Adams currently in P2 still, as he has to patiently wait to make that move in Sector 1.
Yeah, he's going to have to wait another lap here, Adams. He's going to have to just stick with him, stick close enough, charge the pack. And if I was Adams, just charge the pack. Or else I've got one lap fresher tyres and I've got a decent gap behind me. I'm just going to save those tyres and I'm going to push lap 32, lap 33. Just stay in that DRS at the minute though, charge the pack, and I am sorted for the race. But of course, we probably won't see him do that. We'll probably see him get past him as soon as possible.
Yeah, still 7 more laps, so it's just a matter of strategy at this point during the race. Are you going to make the overtake again, to get overtaken down the main straight again, to make the overtake again? It's just back and forth racing at this point, because you're not really able to make any room to the guy behind you, because you're so close on the same strategy. Like you're basically on the same tires. Keeves right now getting overtaken by Adams again, but makes the overtake. Is there an incident? Doesn't look like it. Side by side, Adams now right the outside, makes up that position as he seems to be sliding through that corner a little bit right there, and Keeves has to give up that position, and he's losing about 5 tenths already.
Yeah, I think that's just because of a poor line there for Keith, and first time he's really been in dirty at this race, so we'll see if our strategy rumours were true about him. As Dawn and Oliver having a nice little ding dong through Sector 1 Sector 1, as that is for P9. Calvin just actually is starting to close in a little bit on Aldous. He's within 2 tenths of the DRS now. It was about 4 tenths through this middle sector 3 laps ago. Let's see how it ends at the end of it. Now, yeah, about 4 tenths. Might be gaining a little bit through the first sector and second sector, but third sector, sorry. But it'll be interesting to see these two at the end of the race.
Yeah, just to mention, there's a little bit of a DRS train forming, as we've got Ellie in P12, Sonic Hawk in P13, Mr. Wiggles in P14, Gox in P15, and Magi in P16, all within 1 second of each other. So it's going to be a very good question who's going to end up in P12 here, because we've got such a competitive grid. Everyone is running different strategies. You've got Gox and Magi being on the soft tires, Mr. Wiggles on the hards, you've got Sonic Hawk and Ellie on the medium tires, so all of these guys are running different and Girl, of course, because we've got Ellie, but all these people are running a different strategy, so it's going to be a good test for us as commentators to see who is going to end up in P12 here. Sonic Hawk making that move up into P12, but also Gox making up that position to Mr. Wiggles. So it seems like those soft tires are still fresh as a bum who just got wiped.
I think the actual term is fresh as a daisy, but...
Okay, that's the one. Yeah, fresh as a daisy, that's the one.
fresh as a baby's.
Okay, there we go.
No, but smooth as a baby's bottom. That's the one I'm on about. Kind of mixing sayings here, but anyway. It's better than fresh as a freshly wiped ass. There we go. Doran right now going around the outside of Oliver, but he loses a position. MCFC.
Oh, what happened there? Oh, and there goes the Alpine. Oh, what an incident here between AKG and Doran right now. And also Doran gets a 5-second time penalty. What the hell happened there?
Doran just lost it on exit. That's all that happened. And EKG, MCFC, what goes around comes around, I guess. This time it was a spinning car coming around into him after he decided to slam into Oliver. The car that Oliver was trying to overtake came round and spun MCFC back into a barrier anyway. So I think Doran might be able to get that penalty removed if he asks for it. I think, because I don't think it's very fair considering it was just a harmless spin. That was a 5-second penalty for. Well, yeah, it wasn't really a 5-second penalty worthy incident.
Yeah, 100%. I have the same feeling here. He's just lost his car, and you know, the other driver ended up at the wrong position at the wrong time. You know, that's all you can say about it. Not really that Doran chose to be aggressive or like cause any damage or cause any aggressiveness at any point during this race. So let's go back to Keeves here, as he's right behind Adams, but he doesn't look like he's very comfortable making that move here. So heading into turn 2, he's just gonna sit and wait and hopefully charge his battery a little bit. I feel like Adams is in a worse position than Keeves in right now. He does have the fresher tire though, only by 1 lap, but Keeves can just charge his battery right now with the use of DRS and with the use of Slipstream. So I think Adams just finds himself in a difficult position right now, because he's the one to get overtaken down the main straight. He's not going to be able to be in a position where he's going to keep that position down the main straight, because he's not going to have the DRS, he's not going to have ERS, and it's just going to be such a hard challenge. And then heading into Sector 2, heading into Sector 3, he's not going to be able to make that position up again. So going into lap 35, we will see Keeves being very aggressive into Sector 1.
Yeah, breaking news in the little midfield battle here. Not midfield, P4 battle. Calvin is right on the back of that McLaren. If he can get a decent corners, he should have the DRS for the first 2 straights, and that will propel him, hopefully, to overtake him. We'll see, as he was in DRS earlier in the lap, but kind of fell out as the lap went on, as Keith just sitting there still behind Adams, which might be the smarter option, just to save up the battery for a bit.
You know what the problem is with Keeves? He's not saving his battery. Like, he's just draining all of it. I don't know where, but he's just using it, and he's not saving it. So he's not going to have the benefit at the end of the race. I think Adams now has more than 20%. Keeves has around 15, if I'm not mistaken. But let's go back to the midfield here. Cassidy right behind Mansell on 12 lap old soft, 7/10 for the Red Bull driver. He does have a penalty though. Sonic Hawk is gonna bump up a couple of positions, well, only one, to Doran if he's gonna be able to make the overtake. And then hopefully he might be able to make the overtake on Oliver. Not too sure what the penalties are looking like for Oliver. 6 seconds.
Oliver,
so
yeah,
he can make up that position actually. And Mindful Wasp is going to lose 3 positions too. 1 to Noldus, 1 to Calvin Racing, and 1 to Mansell.
Yeah, so this battle here with Calvin and I think. Oh, that was a spinning car across the track. It is a lap Vicar though. That gave me a mini heart attack. Just spinning Alfa Romeo in the middle of the road. Luckily, it wasn't any of our front runners at the minute. Struggling to. I'm sure he's on the medium TC, which is a struggle to get used to at first.
Yeah, let's focus on the top 2 right now. There's only 1.5 more laps to go. Keeves, being in P2, went a little bit off track there, but we might be seeing someone getting pushed wide, getting a 3-second time penalty in that last lap battle. So that is something both drivers have to think about too. The V-car retired from the session in the pit lane right now, as he doesn't want to drive anymore on this medium traction control. He feels like it's a little bit too much of a torture for him at this point during the race. But yeah, Keeves right now coming around the last couple of corners here in the second to last lap. Heading into...
Oliver's spun.
Oh!
Oliver's in the wall. Oliver's lost his front wing. Well, part of his front wing. Sonic Hawk's past them. And so is Doran, maybe? Yeah, Doran's past them. Janegi's past them. Ellie might even get past them before the end of the race too. And Dogs, with the 6 seconds, will definitely get past them.
Alright, last lap battle. They're down the main straight right now, but Keeves coming out of that last corner, he was 7 or 8 tenths down. So he's not going to be able to make that move anytime soon. He just has to hope for a miracle at this point, or hope for a spin from Adams right now, because it looks like Adams is a little bit untouchable at this point of the race. Heading into lap 35, out of the 35 laps. And it looks like we have got a new race winner on the board. Only half a lap still to be driven. And Keeves 5 tenths behind. I don't see him make that overtake point, any time during this race, during this lap anymore. Heading into the chicane right now, turn 6 and 7 into turn 8, 90 degrees corner into turn 9, 90 degrees corner, and then we're heading into the last sector of this lap. Will it be Adams catching his first race win in season 15? It is definitely looking like it. None of the drivers are going wide. There's only one more corner where they can go wide, and that's this one. And if they can keep it on track, both drivers are going to be finishing the race without a penalty, heading into turn 12 and 13 right now. And it is going to be Adams coming around that last corner to grab the race win. Adams, the Williams driver, the English driver, if I'm not mistaken, coming across the line. And he's going to be in P1, weaving a little bit to let Keeves know it's been a good race. Mindful Wasp is going to finish too. But Noldus is, of course, going to gain that position. A good amount of points for Noldus once again. And Cassidy, who's only going to finish in P7, is going to lose a couple of positions to Noldus. Points.
Adams is Scottish, not English.
Makes sense.
Quite the opposite.
Okay. British,
Quite
let's say it like that.
that.
Let's say it like that. British.
Yeah, he raises under the Scottish flag, so I don't think that would work either.
Fair enough.
Scottish and English and Scottish and British. Hot topic in the world. Got a few drivers that claim to be loyalists to the UK, but that's it.
Jinnage bumps up a couple of positions here. He gained a position to Doran, Wiggles, Mad G, and I think Oliver too. Just reading the chat here real quick. Calvin Racing says ran out of fuel crossing the line. Very risky there.
Yeah, fuel seems to be quite an issue around here. Obviously high down. Doesn't surprise me to someone. So that'll be interesting to see tomorrow as well for Div 1.
Yeah, 100%. It's not going to be me in the comms box, but of course we've got our two other buddies in the comms box too. Absolutely amazing job by them last week and last season too. So we're heading into the driver of the day right now, which is going to be Gox. Not too sure how many positions he's actually gained. He didn't manage to get last to first, but he definitely got last to top 10 possibly.
Yeah, top 10. He finished directly 10th.
Ah, there we go. All right, so going through the grid right now, we've got Adams with the fastest lap. He's the only one who has put a 117 point something on the board. He's also going to grab the full points, so that is going to be 26 points for the Scottish driver. Keeves in P2 and Noldus in P3. Further, we've got Calvin Racing, Mansell, Mindful Wasp, Cassidy, Sonic Hawk, Ellie, and Gox in the top 10. And then we've got Jinnage, Doran, Wiggles, Magi, Oliver, Yes, Silver Fox, Boss Gaming, MCFC, and the V-Car finishing off the top 20 here. The biggest loser of the evening, we can say, is definitely Bossy Gaming. He went from P5 all the way to P18. And the biggest winner is going to be Gox, if I'm not mistaken. Although, Sonic Hawk, we could call him the winner of the day too, because he went all the way to last place, got back to P8 with a beautiful strategy and a wing change. So, yeah, beautifully done by all the drivers here. We've had some good races. What were your thoughts of these couple of battles?
Brilliant racing from all drivers. My driver of the day has to go to Sonic as well. Shame to Adams as well, because if Sonic Hawk just hadn't had the comeback drive, an unstoppable performance from the Scot. But Sonic Hawk, brilliant recovery for him to get some points.
Yeah,
so,
and that is going to be the last, well, the finish of this live stream, guys. Ruxmedia, I thank you very much for commentating with me. It was very pleasant. Man. It was very pleasant, like usual, like always.
Thank you, man.
All right, guys, we'll catch you next week as we will be heading into, not too sure what race. I'm just gonna have a quick look here. Spa, very interesting track. My home track, actually, so I know a lot about this track. I actually have a little fact about this track, but I will tell you guys that next week, as it is going to be season 15, round 4 of the Belgian Grand Prix. Today we had the Hungarian Grand Prix round 3 here in season 15 of the Speed Force Racing League. My name is Phoebe Thomas. I was accompanied by Mr. Ruxmitty, and we thank you very much for watching this live stream, and we will catch you guys next week.